Have you ever had any like crazy shark experiences or anything while surfing? I'm just curious.
I lived in Western Australia for almost a year. And when I lived there, it was the most dangerous place in the world to surf, because of the amount of great white shark
Oh
attacks.
shit! Attacks because they would
Yeah,
attack.
yeah. So there was two experiences I had when I was there. There was a guy who disappeared at a wave called Lefties, and Lefties is a really bad place to get bitten by a shark because it's like a 20-minute walk. So if you got bitten there, you would be pretty fucked.
Yeah.
But I never saw a shark when I was there. Never. I
Oh.
saw one breach miles out. I'd never seen a shark. I think if you see them, you're not going to get eaten by them. That's what they say there, because they're coming from deep below to attack
Yeah.
you. But I was in the water when someone got bitten in half, and it was quite a weird experience.
No. Okay, from the start, please. From the start. Oh
So
my,
there was a
literally
guy
just-
called Adam. I have to tell this respectfully because obviously someone's lost their life. But
Yeah.
like, there was a guy called Adam who was a local there. I think he was originally from Sydney. And it was, I have to tell the full story. I was like, should I even tell that? Because it sounds so weird, the full story. But
Let's hear it.
we'd been in the pub the night before, and this guy called Adam, who I didn't even know his second name, but he was kind of travelling friends of a friend called Simon of mine, a really good friend of Simon of mine. And he was outside, and he was wearing a hoodie, like a body warmer like this, and a winter hat, and it was autumn in Western Australia. It wasn't that cold, but it was getting cold. He was wearing board shorts and flip flops, and we kept saying to him he was like a guy, like, I don't even know the right words that we said, but we were like, he's almost like two people. It's almost like he's like separate person from the waist. And I don't know if this relates to anything that I'm going to tell you, but that has to be told at the start of the story because that is an important part of the story. So we ended up getting far too drunk with it, like, as a thing, and I, stupidly being Scottish and just being young and silly, ended up partying until 4 a.m, and we were all meant to drive
That's
up
so
to a
funny.
place, a wave on the north. There was a really big swell the next day, so it was like a wraparound, and it came round the top, and everything on this coast was too big or maxing out. So we went up to this point at the top, and I was like 2 or 3 hours late in the morning. Like, you wake up, you're dreary, and you just got in the car, probably shouldn't have been driving. Went to go up, and there's two waves there. There's a wave right at the front, which is quite soft and relaxed, and there's a wave called Boneyards. It's a ridiculous name, but
Oh my
there's
God.
a wave called Boneyards. It's just a really shallow, heavy beach break, and a lot of bodyboarders would go there, and surfers, but you had to be pretty good to surf and pretty on your game. And I was like, I'm fucking hungover. I'm going to surf the easy one. So I went straight at the front and surfed away. All my mates were down there. I just couldn't be ass walking. It was like a mile down the beach to get there. And not considered a really sharky place, but there was also a seal colony out in one of the points. It's just sharky around there everywhere. Like, there's not really a place that you would be guaranteed to be safe.
No.
And came in all good, was trying to track down my friends, so I started walking down the beach to where they were surfing. I was like, I'll just sit on the sand and wait for them to come in because I'm just like cooked now. And there was a really weird vibe in the air, and I'm not just saying that because I know what happened next, but there was a very somber, it was very still, and there was just a weird vibe. And as I went down, there was a towel like in a heap, and it looked like someone was sleeping, and my mates were just like looking pale as shit and not in a good place. And I went up and talked to them, and like 2 of them were crying, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And they were like, that's that guy, Adam, he got bitten. He got bitten. And I was like, well, is he okay? Like, what the fuck? Is there like ambulance? He's like, nah, there's only just the top half of him there. So he'd been bitten with a wetsuit on. And they said when he went down, he kind of shook and went pale, and then popped up, and then went down, and then popped up again, and that was it. There was like just the top half of him there, and they never got
The bottom.
they never got his hips down.
Because the shark would have eaten it.
It would have, it would have gone. It was a one bite situation as well. So they found it in Sizer, because I think sharks quite often lose their teeth. They found it in Sizer, and they reckoned it was like a 6 or 7 meter white shark pointer.
And because they have to find the shark and then kill it, right?
Is that
They
a thing?
went hunt. So
Yeah.
this was national then.
Yeah.
Then his mum was flown over from Sydney, and there was a big paddle out with flowers. You know, it was a big event in the area.
Oh my god.
So everyone then, so then the surf community of Margaret River is an incredible place, and like being Scottish and
Yeah.
and having enjoyment for surfing bigger waves. I knew, and I worked in the bar there, so you know a lot of the people. So there was almost like an unofficial wake in the pub that night. So we went back to the pub, and we were just like,
Dude.
not many words were being said. It was heavy. We all had a drink, and me and Simon made a deal that we were going to go surfing the next day, because if we didn't,
Then
we probably
you'd be
would have
too
never gone
scared.
surfing in Western Australia again. So
Yeah.
we went surfing the next day, and this is where the story kind of gets a bit funnier, because we went out the next day to a wave called Joey's Nose, which is like it's in like a group of rocks. It's like a bay, a sheltered bay, and you would never expect there to be any sharks in there. So we went for a surf there, and that night went for a beer, and we spoke to this like old school fisherman. He was like, "Fuck, boys, I saw a massive shark in this bay," and we were like, "What?" We were like, "There is no sharks," and he's like, "Oh fuck yeah, there's loads of massive pointers in there," and we were like.
That's a good accent, by the way.
Yeah.
We were like, he was like, far out. You know, I can't do it anymore.
It was great though.
But he was just like, nah, there's like big sharks in there. He's like, I saw a big shark in there today, and we were just like,
Oh my
Like,
god.
but like we went surfing again, and that guy lost his life. And if there was anyone that would have been more sound about getting eaten by a shark, it was that guy. He was the most
Sound.
because you that sounds ridiculous. That
risk.
sounds flippant, but like. You're aware as a surfer that
Especially
that
in
might
Australia,
happen,
yeah.
and you have to be okay with it. Like you're not gonna
Yeah.
like say like I want to be eaten by a shark, or like I'm stoked about it, but
Yeah,
you
no,
have to be
that's
okay
like,
that it might happen. That's
Yeah.
a tangible risk of surfing in that area.
so today, me and Melanie were talking about expecting the worst. So that's literally what I
Yeah.
mean. It's kind of like you don't want it to happen, and you're not anxious all the time that it's gonna happen, but you know that it might happen.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're mentally prepared that you're content with this.
But I think the term expecting the worst just kind of rubs me wrong, because I feel like that's just, it has such like a negative undertone, like expecting the possibilities. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
you might have this
Understand
possibility.
the worst.
Yeah, like
So knowing
that's what I
it.
mean. It's like expecting the worst. Like for me, I just feel like that just sounds so, yeah, understanding the worst is better. Like yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
It's all about wording.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I literally in every episode I'm like, everything's about communication, because we're all talking words and we think we're communicating, but it's all about how you say something. So it's like for you, if I just said a different word, then you would have
Yeah.
completely gotten what I was trying to say, because it wasn't about the wording, it was about the context of the thing. Yeah. So people get really caught up in like words.
There is like a tiny little offshoot of that story about Scotland. It's just a funny story, but there was a guy that said he saw a shark in the Moray Firth, which is up where there's like I think there might even be there have been killer whales up there and stuff.
Yeah.
And dolphins, a lot of dolphins, and there is port beagles. There's a Scottish shark which doesn't eat humans and eats fish, and this guy had reported online on like surfing like Facebook pages and stuff, and a newspaper posted this thing saying man spotted a shark in the water and it breached and splashed him or whatever. And I was out surfing this wave up in Thurso, and there was a guy in the water, and I was like, did you hear about that guy seeing the shark? And I just started talking without really thinking, and I was like, man, that guy's fucking so stupid. Imagine you thinking there's like a proper shark there. And he was just looked at me deadpan in the eyes and was like, yeah, that was me. And there's fucking nowhere to go in that situation. You're surfing a wave, there's nobody else out.
No.
There's like, it's
That's
the
so
most
funny.
awkward. If a seal could have grabbed my ankles and taken me down, I would have happily gone to the bottom.
Bye.
And I just was like this, so just start like
So how's your day?
paddling underwater. Like
Yeah.
just shimmying over a wave, just the awkwardness expanded.
That's so funny.
Hope he doesn't listen to this and be like, that guy's an asshole.
For fuck's
That
sake.
guy again.
Stop talking about it.
The guy called me out to my face. What a dick. Accidentally.
You'd probably be like feeling anxious that people were thinking or saying that, and then you literally said it.
I was just like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard to his face.
I'd have been like, I honestly probably would have tried to save myself and be like, okay, then what did it look like? Like that, some shit that got really defensive.
I saw a cat once. It was called a puma.
Yeah. I saw a panther. It's like, looking at me.
Because I was trying